very good morning to you guys. Hope you're doing well and you had a nice weekend. So a lot of the movement that we're seeing is from the CPI, but we have to remember it was only one set of data. So we kind of want to see confirmation on softening inflation, but it was a good sign for risk. Now we knew we were risk on at the big picture and retail guys are trapped, but they're adding to that position. So we've got a -7 SSI. So for every one person who are long, there's 7 people trying to short, right? So there's quite a crowded bear space going on here. There's loads of bears, and since they're normally counter trend and they'll lose money, price should go up to punish them. And we're seeing a effect as well on the USD. So we have to be careful, but do remember it's only one set of data. We kind of want to see confirmation on the next CPI. If it does, then we'll probably go a bit parabolic. So note your VIX was crushed and we're risk on. We were risk on anyway, as I said, a few weeks ago. So had you caught the dip, you would have done very well. And it looks like they're getting caught. They're adding to that position and they're averaging, and that's probably not going to work out well for them. But we have to remember things do reverse. So bear that in mind. It's quite a skewed metric, but it can get more. We can get this to -12 and then we do see a reversal. So we've got a little bit more room there. Yields fell, so that's a weakening on the dollar. But however, the 3-month is now warranting more yield, right, than the 5, the 10 and the 30-year. See, 4.13 is more than those. So still telling us a little bit of apprehension and worry near term. That comes down. If that comes down tomorrow, it's going to be quite risk on. Okay, we want that below 3.99, and so that needs to crumble quite a bit. But there's still lots of things going on in the world. Remember, Biden and Xi had their meeting, so that was positive. Russia have withdrawn from Kherson, which was a main capital city in Ukraine, not the capital, but the main city, and so that's bullish. And any sort of resolution on conflict is a bullish thing. So we have more positive news, and that should bring that 3-month down a little bit. I think it spiked maybe because of North Korea. I'm not sure. So they shorted pound yen, and they've gone long dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, and they're shorted gold. So you can see, the reaction and price because of that. Look at your dollar pairs. Okay, they've gone long and they're adding long. And it's a very wintry morning here in the UK. It's raining quite a bit, so hopefully you can't hear the rain. And there's the reversal on the cross USD. And we were wondering whether or not it was the bottom, and it looked like it could be. So we have to keep an eye on that. So the strongest is AU, the Australian dollar, and the weakest is dollar Swiss. So, it's a big difference from, where we were last week when I was doing this bulletin on Monday. We were quite strong. So we had a big reversal following that CPI. But we have to remember it's just one set of data. This is a risk-on trade. However, it has got the yen in it, so we have to be very careful because of the intervention and the fact that the dollar yen is weakening somewhat. So if that falls, it probably should impact our trade of the day. Knowing that how quite stubborn the dollar is against the yen, it might want to drag its peers down with it because of the correlation. It's quite strong correlation, so it's a possibility that the dollar yen falls, it will drag cross yen down with it. So if it does, it might be a poor signal. However, we will want the dollar to puke in order for our trade of the day. So if the dollar sort of bottoms out and it rallies, then it will be pretty bad. So just know your exit and trade sensibly and have small sizes because we're still quite uncertain. We've got a Black Friday deal going on now. It's basically lifetime access for premium, $600 for lifetime, and for basic content it's $500 for spreadsheet access only. If you want a year on the premium tier, then it's 30% off, so it's $250 for a year. But if you get lifetime for 500, then it's only 2 years, and you get that for life, which is a good bargain. The deal will finish on Monday, so it's a Black Friday week, and I sent out emails to everyone who have subscribed to Quasidb.com, and I'll put a little advert in Telegram as well. And so there's the inevitable break. It was just so obvious, we hit that. We looked like we were going to fall, but then, of course, by doing so, it encouraged them to short. By selling it, price has gone up. So it was really obvious what was going on there. It just had to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of fake rubbish, and then we inevitably broke. It was kind of obvious that we would, because there was that double top, and that's always. That's quite conducive. It encourages the bears to think, oh, that's a double top. That must be a good resistance. And so they sell it because of the double top. But of course, it goes up to break, goes to their stop loss, and it breaks above. So got to be careful. They're normally fake, these things. You can tell once you've been trading with the sentiment for years, how things work. And it's just basically a big, it's like a big illusion and like theatre and pantomime. But if you understand how it works, you can make quite a lot of profit. So that was inevitable. I said like ages ago that was going to happen, and it did. And likewise, we had a consolidation before the CPI, and we had a big break. See, we got like a wick, an order block here. So you could have entered above that kind of wick, right? And likewise, you could have done that. No, it's formed an order block, so you could have entered above that wick. See, we were a buy on US 30 anyway, in the big picture. Okay, so you're looking to buy dips because we were a buy. We were below 50%. Okay, and DAX likewise, we were below 50%, so you're looking to buy, and they shorted it here, they shorted it here, and they shorted it here. Now, what's interesting? They did it 3 times. They did it same with gold. Shorted it here, and they shorted it here. So that's kind of spooky. Lots of movement, great deal of movement. It's like huge moves actually. And the largest stop loss cluster is at the spooky number, and the size is 5.23. And perhaps an eye on the EU, which I believe has got probed now. Yeah, that would have been probed. So you need to get a copy of the effects SSI indicators, and you can see the stop loss clusters. So there's the promo code, so you can you're welcome to join, have that, and there's a discount there. So it's quite a good little link there, so just use that link. It's fairly straightforward. Behavior rate is okay. Dollar is a bit naughty in so much as that they sold it and they're getting paid ever so slightly. So, we should maybe see a reverse on the dollar. So you've got to be careful. And we had a 61 pip loss. We scratched a lot of trades with a 0 loss gain, since the CPI is always going to be very volatile. Monday, Tuesday, scratch. Wednesday was a scratch. Wednesday was a trade, and Thursday wasn't going to be anything because of the CPI. Aftermath, like hangover basically. So that's it. We're week 96 now. We're up a lot over this time, 5,267 pips. A little bit choppy, but then that's probably because of the lot of indecision with the USD and risk and stuff. So it looks like we're going risk on, but we still have to be careful. And there's NU made a QDB signal to buy. Because it agreed with the bubbles. It was a buy at the static nature. It's below 50%, and the dynamic is the shifting across time, and they shorted it, and it's technically a strong buy. So look for entries on NU. It might be a bit late now, right? So I'm wondering whether or not I need to maybe wake up a bit earlier, but I do want to have a life. That's the trouble. I can't be working 24/7, so. So I don't know whether or not to wake up really early, but then I had to have an early night, and that would kind of suck quite a bit. But the API is working on the sheet, so you're more than welcome to use the bubbles and get trade ideas from that if I'm not awake. But ideally, I do want 7 hours sleep. I don't want to be working around the clock, but that would have been a good one had you called it at 5, about 3 hours ago. Thing is, it might have hit its ADR now, and it would have taken stop loss cluster out as well. So, you've got that confluence for resistance. If you hit the average daily range and the stop loss cluster is there as well, that could be an indication of a top. So we have to be careful. Perhaps just like the early bird scenario might be the way to go, but I think I'm just going to stick to this 7 hours. I don't want to be tired all the time. So there's pound stuff that had happened. The Eurozone have got some data, and we've got the economic sentiment index, which probably will be positive because things are looking quite positive now. And we've got that Russian withdrawal as well. So that might be a good one for the euro, and the dollar's got some PPI. Keep calm, always trade safely. I'll do a quick 2-minute video into Discord to cover the indices, and I'm going to do a Patreon video for the SLC updates so we can see where the stop loss clusters are. And I'll speak to you guys soon.